You guys, this is all Kyle's mom's fault. Shut up, Cartman. Kyle's mom is...
All right, let's fucking start this shit. What's up, everybody? It's fucking Christmas Eve. This is actually, I think, our first, actual closest to the holiday episode that we've done.
On the eve of the holiday. Usually we have pre-recorded it. We have set it up, or it's been a few days while you've been on vacation with family and friends.
Yeah. But hey, we're here. It's Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas, Ben Johnson. Happy holidays to everyone.
Merry Christmas, James.
Happy Hanukkah to all.
All
my Jews out there, because Hanukkah falls on Christmas this year. So shout out to those guys.
To all my Jews. Is that Wow.
If I could do a gang sign at the Star of David, I'd do it. But yeah, I mean, I know you had some technical difficulties, but man, I've never done this before, and this is the kind of technology shit I love, because nobody who's ever in the years I've done this show has seen the chaos of wires and jerry-rig things that I put together to have audio, and I'm literally on my cell phone right now that is hooked up to my mixer. Isn't that insane?
Oh wow! And it sounds great.
Yeah. It's fucking beautiful. I mean, I won't be able to play my sound bites because usually I play it off my phone. But still, look at me streaming on my phone through my sound mixer with my mics.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
It's a full-blown Christmas miracle.
Yeah, because I'm away. I'm actually in my grandmother's living room currently right now, because I'm down here in North Carolina hanging out with my family. I know, it's been a blast. We definitely came out here a little too early. I was kind of bitching. I was like, oh, coming down here on the 18th, staying here until the 26th. But I hate bitching when it comes to family. You know, I always get kind of grouchy, and then I'm like, oh, I'm a fucking piece of shit. My grandmother's 80 years old.
And taking care of you and like all of that. And happy to see you. No, I do the same thing, man. It becomes like this weird notion of like obligation or whatever, and you're just like, oh, the dozens of other things I either have to do, could do, want to do, should do, don't want to do. Sit on the fucking toilet in your apartment, your weird little closet toilet. You could either be doing that or, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I felt bad because I missed, Steelers art show last Saturday, but. Family is family. And I see Steeler all the time.
Yeah, you see Steeler constantly. If you're not at one art show because you're with family. And what do you think Steeler would do? What would Steeler do?
Yeah, he said his exact words are family first. That's what he told me.
There you go. You see what I'm saying?
And plus, we got Steeler Fest. Everyone can go buy his art soon anyway. February 3rd.
That is going to be the wildest, dude. The wildest.
It's coming together. I've been working on it since I've been out here too. It's coming together. Reeves is doing the band stuff. I got the movie stuff, and it's coming. Everything is coming hard. It's
dude.
Coming out
I'm coming hard. I've already come hard a couple of times this morning. I did.
No, but it's been a blast out here. Hanging out with all my cousins. It's great that like more of my family is smoking weed, which is amazing. I used to have to hide this shit, and I couldn't bring anything with me, and I would have to beg my like teenage cousins to get me weed, and we'd smoke it out of a fucking I'd be like 27 years old, like smoking out of a fucking plastic tube with like tinfoil in it to like make a bowl.
To make the bowl.
Now I can just stroll in with joints and the whole family will just.
And you're like,
now I'm like the Christmas man. Even so, my grandmother is having some issues with her back and joints. She's sciatica. That's the way she calls it. I don't know the details of what that is.
So your sciatic is a nerve inside your back, and sciatica is a condition that affects that nerve. It sort of runs down like one leg. You're talking to a guy who low-key deals with a little bit of sciatica. Yeah.
So she's doing a bunch of stuff, all the doctors giving her medicines. And then my aunt, not me, my aunt suggested, take some CBD, try some of that stuff. So apparently she had a bottle here, and she asked me to, I'm like, I'm no doctor. I'm not going to sit here and tell you should not take this, but I will give you the directions for it. And then I couldn't tell if she was joking. She was like, "Do you got any weed?" I'm still pretending I don't have any because I don't know. I don't want to give my 85-year-old grandmother. What if I gave her a joint and she like freaks out or dies?
Don't want to. Man, that's when you show up at grandma's house with like fucking fatty gummies and you're like, grandma.
I'm just afraid. Look, last time I gave my cousin a gummy, he like passed out in the toilet for like 3 hours.
Yeah, well, your cousin is a child who's done silly things. Like your grandma is a woman who has a lived experience. If you say, grandma, only take one, she's going to take a half of that. And she'll be like, that was crap. I only ate half. And then she'll sit and she'll hold the rest of it until the next time that sciatica kicks up or her glaucoma gets weird. And then Granny's going to have a good ass time, James. That's what I'm saying. I guess
you're right. I'm nervous with that stuff. And it also got me thinking of like, if I went back to, if I told my dad this, like if my dad was my age, like when you stroll, even if he was 30, even an adult, strolled into his parents' house with weed, they would have fucking kicked him out, ripped him a new asshole. Now we're just
called the cops to teach him a lesson.
Yeah. And now we've come this far in culturally society that like weed has become like a different thing. It's almost like a part of our culture, society now.
It's like it's become what having a beer in the afternoon was. You know what I mean? It's now the cultural equivalent. Yeah, because at least when you're too stoned to drive, you know it and you act on that. Meanwhile, half the world out there is half drunk behind the wheel all the time. So, I mean, I don't know. It's an interesting thing to see happening during like a lifetime in general. It's funny because like, do you ever sit back and think like, oh my God, in my 30 some odd years, this is how far we've come as a society, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I never thought I'd see this. Now I see it. I never thought I'd see that. Now I see it. I'm 40. I'll be 45 next month. I see it constantly. And then I'm like young enough to where when I look at my dad in his 80s also, I look at him and I'm like, fuck you, your mind must just be constantly blown. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we were, me and my cousins were actually talking about our great grandfather because we all got to meet him. He died and he was like 99, kind of insane. But that dude lived through not only the Great Depression, he lived through World War II and then like the internet. All in a lifespan. Like, that's insane.
Can you fucking imagine? Like, can you imagine what the world's going to be like when we're 90 some odd? If we get there?
I know.
at this rate, I don't think I'm getting there.
Especially with the thing, all this AI shit. I'm sitting here teaching my grandmother. She got rid of cable for the first time, ever. So I'm sitting here hooking her up all these apps and how to teach her how to use her TV. And she has bad hearing, so she has like these headphones she hooks up to the TV. So I have to like hook it up, and then she has an old TV that they don't work on. And I was trying for like an hour, and I was like, the TV just has no, in sound, being a sound nerd, there's no sound output anywhere unless you switch inputs completely. So literally didn't work after trying for an hour. But yeah, sitting here teaching her how to use all her apps.
I can just imagine your grandmother sitting there with like a set of headphones on like these, holding one side, lifting out the other, going, "What? James, it's not working."
Yeah.
Keep snapping it back shut.
That's exactly what it was.
You're just going, "Mama, mama, mama, mama," and she's like, "I can't hear you."
And then I try to explain it, and then, it's all nonsense. Like, I was like, you don't have the optical cable. Like, there's no sound input from the TV unless you change the inputs, and all of it's just like,
and she just smiles and says, "Optical cable."
Yeah.
Okay. Like you're making up words while she's talking.
Yeah, she just thinks I'm lying to her the whole time.
Is this a Christmas prank, James?
Like I said, I do have a funny story. I found out my grandmother today. So I'm driving her because I also become her chauffeur when I'm in town. You know,
Good.
No, which I don't mind doing. But we're driving, just talking about stuff, and she was like, "Yeah, she's like that time you gave me that bullshit excuse," and I was like, "What are you talking about? I've never lied to you about anything in my life." And she was like, "Yeah, that time you got, robbed in Texas," and I was like, "First off, I didn't get robbed in Texas. I was detained by the Border Patrol. Why would I lie about that?" And she was like, "Well, your stuff was gone." I was like, "Because the cops let us go, and we just didn't pack up. The cops took everything out of my car, but they didn't put it back, And when the cops said go, we just left. You know what I mean? Like, we had this initial reaction of like, good, we're not being held up in Texas, getting arrested. We're getting out of here, and just left my bag there."
Leaving. Robbed by the police in Texas.
But like I told her what I didn't give her all the details in Vegas, but like I told her all the money I dropped in Vegas. But I was like, wouldn't you think I would lie about that and not like being detained in Texas?
That's hysterical. That's hysterical. So you're never mind. All right. I'm gonna be Grandma, let me tell you about this one time in Vegas.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna go into all the details, but I was like, I just spent a lot of money.
I've come back with nothing. Let's just put it that way. A typical Vegas story.
I guess because I was still afraid to admit that like we got pulled over because the drug dog smelled weed in my car. So I still haven't like totally admitted that part, but I don't know. I guess she's.
There's my question, though. There's my question about lies, and it's good because it's Christmas, and we constantly tell lies to our children and society at Christmas. You hide the presents like it's something naughty, like something dirty to do.
Yeah.
You hide those. You tell your kids a fat man comes into the house.
Jesus,
all the lies. This kid was born that was going to save the world. Is it saved yet? I don't think so. Like all of that shit. Is omission a lie, or is it omission? It might be dishonest, but is it an actual lie?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't lie. I mean, I told the full story. I just left out the little bit of the drug dog.
Some of the details.
Yeah.
Some of the details.
Though I did find out something too. My whole family found out actually last night for the first time. We went out for dinner because my grandmother is still asking about weed, and all my family's looking at me, and I'm like, I don't know what you're looking at me for. But apparently, my grandfather did bring home weed one time, and I was like, well, what's the time frame? Is it like, in the 50s? Was it like in the 90s? Was it like 2 years ago? And apparently, it was sometime in like the 60s, and I was like, damn, he must have like rushed home, and been like, what the fuck do I have on me right now? Like, holy shit, he probably got it off some like sketchy person that didn't want it, or you know what I mean? He found it somewhere.
Look what I got. look what I walked. I don't know what this bag of chopped leaves is, but
they're like hiding in their basement because they're afraid to like bring it out somewhere, like just being so cautious about it.
Did I ever tell you about the time the guy gave me crack?
No. What? When was this?
This was in like 2012, 2013. Okay. Somewhere in there. Actually, fuck. No, it was before that. Forgive me. Me and Jen were living in an apartment complex in Oregon. This is actually pre-2010. I'd been up smoking weed. It was late. It was probably like maybe nearish midnight. I get a knock at my door at midnight, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So answer the door. I look out, and it's a neighbor, and I answer it. I open it up, and I'm like, what's up, dude, why you knocking? And he's a guy I'd seen around a couple of times, like clean cut dude too. Like, he worked at a bank. So I'd always see him in like his button ups and shit.
Not like a crackhead. Not like what you would expect a crackhead to look like.
No, not like the crackheads who were out stealing shit from my cars in Memphis.
I saw a guy the other day. We were walking down the street. I assume he's a crackhead, and he was just banging a stick on a rock walking down the highway.
That's either crack or meth, bro. Yep, that's what that does to you. You'll start smacking shit. You'll start hot gluing shit together and think it's something. All of that stuff, bro. All of that stuff. So anyway, get this knock. This dude is clearly on one. Like, he is up. He is strung out. He is like, he goes, I hear him, man. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Hear what? Well, no, but I hear you. I know you. I know you're up. You're awake. You're watching them too. You're hearing them. I know it. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he goes, come outside with me. Come outside. And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, no, just come on. I know you're in. I know you're aware. Come with me. I said, okay. So I strapped on my shoes and I go outside with the guy. And I look outside of his window and he points. He's pointing outside of his window in the snow. And he's like, you see that? You see that right there? And I look down. I don't see shit. I see nothing. He goes, it's footprints. They're looking in. The managers, the supers, they're looking in. They're watching our windows. You see those footprints? You see those footprints?
They're watching.
And I'm like, bro, I don't. Yes, that's.
There were no footprints.
Nothing. There was nothing there. The only thing I could see were literally what had to have been his footprints walking to the edge of the bush to look over to see non-existent footprints beyond the bush.
He's watching himself.
Right? So anyway, long and the short of it is he's like he's like, we need to leave for a few. Let's get out of here. I got my car over here. He's like, do you mind driving? And I was like, where are we going? Oh, I want to go down to the gas station. I'll get you a beer. I'll get you something. Let's go down to whatever gas station. Okay. Oh, okay, bud. He hands me his keys and I drive. Like, have you ever like you do things sometimes outside of yourself in order to like get through a situation, right? To get past. So I start driving. Next thing I know, he pulls a rig out of his pocket. And I thought it was just a bowl. I was like, oh, awesome. Cool. We'll smoke.
Your crap pipes can kind of look like bowls.
Little mini bomb is what it looked like. Like a little like bubbler or whatever. And sure as shit, bro, reaches into his pocket, pulls out a rock. And I was like, oh no. And so like I'm driving, this motherfucker is roasting like fattiest fucking rock and like goes to hand it to me. And I was like, oh no, thank you. I'm driving and it's late. I'm like, I gotta get back. I got work in the morning. I'm like, tonight's not a party night for me. So
just come back to Jen and you're all cracked out. Like, I don't know what happened. I drove this guy.
One eye real big and the other
just start smacking sticks on rocks.
So long and the short, we go to the gas station. We come back. And then he walks me up because he rents one of the covered garages there because he's got a motorcycle. And he wants to show me his motorcycle. And I was like, bro, I'll look at your motorcycle, but then legit, I got to go and get some sleep.
I won't smoke any crack.
Our adventure is over after I look at your motorcycle. So I did. And then as I'm leaving, he hands me inside of a cigarette cellophane a big old fat crack rock. So I take it. I take it inside the house and I put it down beside my pot stuff. Put it down beside that. Go to bed. Wake up the next day. It's an off day. Like me and Jen ain't got shit to do. And I'm like, baby, I got a story for you. I got a story. This all happened while you were asleep. And I show her, and she's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know what the fuck is right." Like, but you see, it's unsmoked crack, and I'm not going to smoke the crack. So
you should have sold it back to the same guy and been like, he wouldn't remember.
it would have been the smart thing to do.
Yeah.
But instead, Jen takes it, and she's like, "Well, I'm putting this out of the way because we got cats, and you'll leave it on the table as a showpiece and whatever." So
The centerpiece.
Instead of even throwing it out, she takes it into her art room and puts it up on like a little shelf or whatever. And we were getting ready to move out of that place, and like we found it again, and it was like, "Oh, remember like remember the crackhead?" But yeah, that's my.
So you don't have the crack anymore.
No, eventually we lost it in a move.
Someone lost it. I bet some mover probably took it. Somebody took it.
If only we could afford movers, bro. I literally think it fell like off the shelf or got shuffled in the move and ended up like somewhere on the carpet when they came in to clean the apartment, is what I think.
Well, one of those cleaners then. Someone had a good time.
Somebody had a party.
Somebody was smacking sticks on rocks.
Bro. But yeah, that's my fun with crack.
Well, how's your holidays going? Got Christmas plans?
My God. So we do the same thing every year. We go over to my dad's house. We eat some gumbo. So I've got to cook today, which is awesome.
Right, Bed's famous gumbo.
Man, let me tell you. You know what? I'm coming up for Steeler Fest. I might do you guys a favor.
Do it.
I might do you guys a favor and make you guys some gumbo. But
I'm not opposed.
Other than that, you can tell in the voice, you can tell in the face, I'm a little under the weathers. I don't know. I woke up with a head full of something. And to top it all off, I've still yet to do the last of my Christmas shopping. So
nice.
Yeah, it's a clusterfuck, but I don't get out too much around Christmas. We keep it close to home.
And it's a mob scene right now, everywhere.
It's gonna suck when I have to go out. It's gonna suck bad. And
Anne could even get a gift for her dog like yesterday because the pet store was insane.
Can I tell you the truth? Here's a real bit of our reality. About 2 months ago, like in October, there was a run on dog toys at like Ross or whatever. And fucking sure as shit, James, guess what? We did our dog Christmas shopping in October.
So at least you got the dogs out of the way. If everyone else has to wait.
Dogs are done. I got Pops' hat made because I always make my dad a hat for Christmas, so that's done. Dogs are done. I got Jen, so we ordered the legs for it, so it won't be done until those arrive, like early January. But Jen wants a sewing table upstairs, and I'm cleaning out the tub, and I found an old tabletop up there that's like, it's about 10 foot long. So I'm going to chop about 4 foot off of it, add these legs to it. She wants a sewing table for like her sewing machine and a place where she can cut patterns and shit like that. And then I bought her some pegboard from Lowe's that I've got to put up upstairs.
She's going to peg you?
Hey, I get pegged for Christmas. Nice.
It's like, this is my Christmas present. You just put a bow around your waist and just bend over.
Woohoo! I'm not little Jimmy Adamson from Bayonne, New Jersey. That's not what I want for Christmas, but that's a whole other story. But no, so I'm setting her up like a little sewing station upstairs. So, and then I already know what's coming in for me, bro. I'm getting a new like a pea coat. Ooh. I'm getting a fancy little jacket, some new shoes, and then I'm waiting for my birthday in January for fun shit. I'll do fun shit then. But a little coat, some shoes, bro. I'm a happy camper.
Get a whole new
now.
outfit.
Yeah. I got this smart wool thermal shirt that is very
comfy.
Bro, not only is it comfy, like at first I thought it would be when I first held it up and put it on, I was like, oh, this is a little too breathy. And then the next thing I know, it's like I'm fucking cooking in this thing, dude. Like it is warm, man. It is warm. It is good. But smart wool is the shit. But as far as Christmas goes in general, like, fuck, I keep it.
Oh, here goes Gesundheit. Little snot there.
Worst Christmas episode ever. I'm a train wreck. But I keep it around the house, dude. I'm a straight up like a family guy at Christmas.
Hey, family guy. Whatever that theme song goes. Yeah, Family Guy. What's the episode called? I'm dreaming of a white guy or something.
Yeah,
Gift of a white guy.
Gift of the white guy.
Yeah, horrible title. For just a horrible episode. Like, Family Guy fucking sucks.
So
like, it sucks hard. Like, this episode sucks.
So there's a thing. I'm sorry I'm so disgusting this morning. This is terrible.
Great podcast, just snot and sneezes.
Just snot, sneezing, wiping my nose on a camera. Like I'll open it up and show you guys at the end of this how much snot is in there.
That's how we'll end this episode. Show us your nostrils.
So, number one, you are right. Number one, you are absolutely right. Like, I know I told you in private, but I'll just say it right now. Family Guy should have stopped the second they banned it from air. The first time in 2000. They should have been just done with it. And it would have lasted, and it would be this great thing. It would be this great thing that they took away from us.
This fun counterculture family dynamic animated show.
Right. That could have existed in a truly perfect form, because that first season, the first season.
Yeah, I used to watch a lot of Family Guy. I mean, I loved it for a while.
It was good. But now 22 seasons in, it's like the fun is worn off. You can't be that offensive that long on network TV and without your jokes running stale. You know what I mean? Like,
because that's what it felt like. I mean, all the jokes in this felt just stale, like not even offensive and funny. And sometimes they are offensive and it's still not funny. Can I tell you, like, the big laugh I got out of this? And it was like a genuine, like, belly laugh. Okay. I actually sat through this twice. So the first time was closer to Thanksgiving when it first went up. And I didn't know you watched it that early.
Bro, Hulu was doing they were already promoting the Hulu holidays or whatever, the Hula days or whatever.
Hula days.
And it was already on there. And I sat down and watched it before me and Jen were going out. And she wanted to hit up like Ross, right? So there's a point in the episode where Peter and Lois are talking about going out and going shopping, and they're headed to like a Ross Dress for Less. And Peter refers to them as one of those women's chaos stores. Yeah. Where everything is like candles and one other thing on the shelves, and it's just everything's thrown everywhere. We're literally headed to one of those shops. And he says that, and like, I just laughed, because women's chaos store is the greatest thing I've ever heard. That is hysterical to me, because that is what those are. Like, do you fuck with like a Ross? Do you ever go to a Ross? I
never need any candles or chandeliers.
Next time you're in town, we'll hit up the one in Hendersonville just to go and watch the spectacle.
Yeah, I just want to watch just white women fight each other.
It's the greatest. It really is. From like as a spectator sport, it's one of the funniest things you'll ever see. It's just chicks like fighting over the ugliest fucking pillows and the dumbest little tchotchkes, and it's there is shit on shelves that it clearly came from other stores. I think like they're just stealing shit and replacing shit. Like it is
people returning stuff to Amazon and they're just reselling it at this store.
Resell it at Ross's. Like it's wild. But that's the only like genuine laugh that I got out of this. I
laughed at the first Jesus joke when they were like, "Oh, I'm not the last person to buy a gift at the last second." And it's like the three, whatever the fuck.
The wise men.
People, wise men. Yeah. The one of them was like, "I want to stop at this store for no other reason." I was like, "Oh, that's pretty funny." But then they go back and do the same joke twice.
With the myrrh again.
Yeah. I was like, now you've just now this is not funny at all.
Yep. It's good, but they hammer things. And I mean, that is a comedic styling. And I do understand the notion of callbacks. I'm not ignorant to the world of comedy.
But it felt like the same joke, though. It didn't feel like a different, like a callback to that joke. It was just like, oh, now this guy is just here. He is giving the last minute gift to Jesus. Even though that's literally what, like, I already got that. You know, I'm not learning anything different here.
There's no nuance. There's no addition to it. There's no, I do think it is funny that the myrrh is the last minute addition because it does feel like the weirdest thing, the weirdest word.
They could have done one or the other. I feel like they didn't need both of those.
No. They could have left it and added another one of those like non sequiturs that they're so famous for in there. But like, so Family Guy in general, like good premise, good notion. It's an animated family that you can do anything. The baby wants to kill the mother, which over 22 seasons, they have amplified that in many ways. And then they've spent seasons where they've dropped that notion entirely. And like
in this episode, what Stewie is trying to get off the naughty list, which I guess works. But I mean, when you're 22 seasons in, haven't they not done that already? I don't know. Like, I don't like, why is Stewie now trying to get off the naughty list?
Right. Has this not been a thing that they've, and weirdly, I think they did. I remember the Christmas, there's another older Christmas episode where they go to the North Pole and they end up fighting Santa and the elves and the reindeers. A much better Christmas episode. You know what I mean? The only other funny moment in here, I think, is when Santa calls the elf. He's getting his massage.
The horny Santa,
Yeah. And he's like, "What's your name?" And the elf tells him, and then he's like, "I just want to know who not to ask for next year." Because
he's all stiff from a full sack or something.
He's got a full sack, you know what I mean? Yeah, those toys are heavy. What's your name? I just want to know who not to ask for next time. That's pretty good too. Like the idea of elves giving Santa a hand job, like I can get on board with.
And you know, I do love The Simpsons. Like I love Homer. I love this dopey, husband. It's always the shtick, right? Dopey husband, ball busting wife. We talked about it a bunch. But for some reason, man, Peter in this episode just like annoyed the shit out of me. It was like I don't get why is Lois not pissed at him? The whole last bit when he gives her the brooch and stuff. It's like I don't feel like he learned literally anything. At least Homer feels like he learned something when he's being dumb.
Homer has a way where you do feel there is growth and understanding, but Peter Griffin, you never get that. You never ever get that. Ever. So it's weird, and Lois references it at the end. So the whole story here, the whole big A story, is Peter has to get a white elephant Christmas gift for his office party, and then he ends up taking Lois's old Christmas brooch because he hasn't shopped, he hasn't gotten what he needs, he hasn't done the right thing, and he takes it, and lo and behold, his boss picks it up. Boss loves the brooch, gives it to his mother for Christmas, but Lois misses her Christmas brooch because it reminds her of her family and her youth.
Something with her lungs or whatever. She had pneumonia. The brooch saved her.
The brooch saved her life. It gave her a reason to live. And Peter takes it, gives it away. Now it belongs to this old lady, and he's supposed to go and get it back. I would have liked this episode more if we'd also left that, if it had become more of a heist story as opposed to.
That's what I thought they were doing.
They spend so little time on the heist, on getting it back, him and the guys.
And I think that's a big problem I have with Family Guy, that they'll spend a big time setting up a thing in like the first or second act like this. They're like, oh, we're going on this big heist. The gates are locked. Security is tight. We have to break in to this old folks home. And then that just happens in like a scene. And then the next like third, fourth act are like something totally different.
Something stupid. Something really fucking stupid. So it's I get that they need the resolution, but the resolution was pretty fucking stupid too, James. Like, Lois is like, well, I got it back. There's no harm, no foul, and I don't have enough time.
And then
left
Peter lies too. The second time is, I got you the mouse pad that said best mom, and she's like, well, I have a laptop. He's like, well, I never got you the mouse pad. So you're still lying. What do you like? You're learning nothing.
No,
you're just horrible.
It's ridiculous, man. I don't know, and the gags aren't funny anymore. It's like.
Even like Meg getting tased, I feel like that should be funny, and it wasn't.
And that's not to say there aren't classic episodes. Like if you go back, there's the one where Stewie gets all jacked on roids and he keeps wanting his money from Brian, and he's like, "You got my money, bitch. You got my money, bitch."
Yeah. Then he beat the shit out of him. Yeah.
Punching him in the face. He abuses him to a point to where like Brian's like in the corner just shaking, like, you know. That's funny to me. That's funny. Like
I know. And in this episode, Stewie Brian said something about like Rick and Morty, and he was like, "Yeah, they had like a fire sale." I was like, What is that? What are you saying?
Right. And so I can answer that. I can answer that to a degree. The idea is like clearly to rip on the most popular cartoon in ages. Yeah. Okay, great. But the fire sale comes from the whole Justin Roiland fucking.
I guess. Yeah.
That thing.
They could have expanded that joke then, I guess, to say that.
And then, well, because your average viewer might not understand it. But it's because of the allegations with Justin Roiland, and then probably when they made this, they didn't know what was going to happen.
Old Family Guy would have done it. You know, Old Family Guy has tons of outdated references of things people never usually understand. I mean, that I never understood, that I had to figure out when I was younger watching it.
Either had to figure out, look up, or they're classic references to like a Gene Kelly or, you know, that kind of shit. Even old animation, like what is it, like the Humongoids or the Humanoids or something like that? They have these rando fucking like weird dips. And here it's like you've got the thing that is at the fucking tippy top, and you still can't land the joke. It's fucked up. It's weird.
Yeah, even Jeff Goldblum bit wasn't even funny.
No, and Jeff Goldblum is fucking ripe for comedy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, ripe for comedy.
Literally.
They couldn't make him funny. And they couldn't make it funny. Do you think they're checked out? Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, what I know that Seth MacFarlane, even though he's still everyone still does the same voices, and he still lists as creator. I know he doesn't write on the show at all.
Right.
Like, I think it's just like a whole new people of writers, and I think they've all just, whatever, it gets numbers, fucking put it out. Kind of like what Simpsons is, you know, the same way.
Yep. And like it's sad to see, but at the same time, it's if you've been making a thing for 20 some odd years.
But I mean, look at South Park. I think South Park still crushes it, but that's also because Matt Stone and Trey Parker are still actively working on it. But I mean,
they still
South
care.
Park still fucking crushes, even though they'll make fun of themselves, like putting things in the credits like hashtag cancel South Park.
They're like, we're
but
tired.
It's still yeah.
That's
but
only
they still do it, and it still kicks ass.
They're just tired, bro. Like, that's it. They're like, cancel us because we're fucking tired. So
this shit's just lame. Even the Fox joke, like when they were like, "Oh, I bet there's a lot of Fox News going on." If this was like, I mean, I know the show still airs on Fox,
right?
But like, I feel like that joke is funnier like 10 years ago. Even though I guess it's topical, it's funnier 10 years ago when they're actually being funded and owned by Fox. When it's like Disney that's like owning it, and I don't know, it doesn't feel as like they're going after their, they're not like making fun of the network that they're on. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel as like.
So the best thing I can equate that to would be Last Week Tonight spent a whole season ripping the ass out of AT&T because AT&T bought HBO Max, and John Oliver would sit there every episode and just say shit to antagonize AT&T. They did a whole like 30-minute bit about how AT&T sucked after AT&T bought out the fucking thing. And he kept calling them business daddy the entire time. He's like, we have a new business daddy, and this is how you're going to have to, like, you have to deal with it. It's truth, it's fact, it's whatever. And if you're going to antagonize your bosses, that's the way. But even this joke landed so flat about Fox News. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Old people watch Fox News and
it changes how they believe, and it makes their families hate them. Yeah. I get it. You're right. We're all dealing with that. We are all fucking dealing with that right now, in so many fucking ways.
Did you don't watch the Dr. Phil show at all, do you, on YouTube?
I watched the one that you sent me.
Hell yeah. It's amazing.
Which, by
it's
the
amazing.
way, okay, so after our last episode, you sent me and Liz the link to Dr. Phil interviewing Jason Biggs.
Yes, it's amazing.
And he has sex with the pie.
Yeah, greatest thing I've ever watched on stage.
I watched through it like 3 or 4 different times, James. And that is...
our good friend Ramallah was there. I didn't realize the show was in New York, and Ramallah was there. He was like, yeah, I was there. I was chanting "fuck the pie."
That's awesome. That's amazing. But no, other than that, I haven't really watched.
So they just put out the Christmas episode. There's 2 parts. Actually, the second part comes out today on the Christmas Eve. But what I was getting at is that Jay Leno is one of the first guests in the first part of the Christmas special. And Jay Leno just cracking some jokes. He was like, yeah, man, back in the day, it was funny if I would like make fun of a president that's like banging porn stars. But now our presidents are banging porn stars, and it's not as like funny anymore.
That's the thing. And this is also where I constantly like struggle, right? It's weird because it's like, it makes you wonder if the more we joke about a thing, like obviously it desensitizes people to the reality of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, when life imitates art to a point to where literally you're electing people who are actively involved in this shit, and everybody just turns a blind eye to it, to be like, well, yeah, presidents fuck porn stars. Hysterical. It happens. Who cares? Then it's a problem. Like JFK, at least, even though as public as it was, he had the good sense to try and keep it quiet when he was fucking Marilyn Monroe. He was trying to whatever, like, and he still, got us through the Cuban Missile Crises and all of this other shit.
Our current president is just talking about grabbing pussy. Also, that Jay Leno talks about how you can see his car in that video of Trump. That video of Trump talking about grabbing pussy. Like he said, you can see my car in that shot.
That's hysterical. So Jay Leno was there. How much pussy was he grabbing that day?
Yeah.
But like that's the thing is it's like you don't want to censor comedians. You don't want to keep people from saying what they need to say, what they want to say. You don't want to keep them from putting a stick in the eye of power or whatever. But at the same time, I do wonder a lot if as a society, because we've laughed at it for so long and we've seen the hypocrisy in it, if that doesn't lead to like a level of complacency towards
it becomes normalizes it.
Yeah, when it truly becomes like, oh, well, that's just what it is. So I don't know, bro. I don't know how good it is, how bad it is, how whatever. You know what I mean? like it's fucked up.
I guess, yeah, and maybe that's probably why Family Guy sucks too, because they are trying to reach for things that now just feel, I guess, more normal.
It would be great to see him do like a regular cartoon episode again without having to comment on anything social. They can still have their not. And that's when I actually think Family Guy kind of shines. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When they get into absurdity, like Peter fighting the chicken. Always funny.
Classic.
Always funny.
And actually, the part in this episode that I was like, all right, I was kind of getting into is when he starts doing the chase, because they started like changing up the animation. It becomes this like 3D, like kind of fun car chase and stuff. And I was like, all right, we're getting somewhere in this episode. And then it just like stops.
They touch on fun moments. Like, I think Family Guy shines when I do still find great humor in the first time that you see Peter bang his knee after the fight with the chicken, and he's sitting there and he's holding his knee.
Like,
for what felt like 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's funny at first, becomes very unfunny. You're checking your watch, and then it becomes funny again.
You're like Stewie with the mommy, mama, mommy, mommy. Like, it just goes on for so long.
Because that's such like an actual like child baby thing. Those moments to me are funny. Those are funny. It's when something tries too hard or not hard enough to be edgy that it's a problem.
And that's where I feel like Family Guy lies in. Like they want to still be edgy, but then it doesn't really feel like it hits that bar at all. Like somehow still feels censored, even though they're saying absurd, like they're commentating on stuff. It still feels like they're being held back in a way.
It's very, very washed out anymore.
Yeah.
It's like they know where the guardrails are and they safely navigate them in their little bits and bibs and bobs.
And they'll try to sneak in like, I don't know, like a gay joke or something. And then it's just not funny. Like now it just feels like you're just throwing it in there to be like, no, we are still edgy, I swear.
Yeah. And, like, again, there are things to be edgy about, but like okay, what was edgy 20 years ago when it first came out, not edgy anymore. It's not. Yeah. We've got 20 years beyond us. And that's the other thing. I think this is where we've grown as a culture and a society. We've learned in at least those 20 years, gay is actually, it's come back around. It's less of a thing to fucking point a finger at and like, whisper about, and is your cousin closeted? Is your fucking uncle like getting pegged on the weekends? Like all of that stuff doesn't matter anymore.
Ben Johnson getting pegged on the sewing table.
Getting pegged on a sewing table on Christmas, baby. You know it. But now it's one of those things where it's like, who cares? And then B, it's 10 times more fun. Like, I was asking Italy why we fetishize, we meaning Americans. There were 3 groups they mentioned. It's like, why do Americans fetishize black people, gay people and fat people. And I was like, I can only answer as to one of those. And I was like, fat people in particular, we love in what we do because they fill up more of the frame. Like, I have to spend less money on art department if I have a big old fat guy in there, and he takes up more of my frame. That's great. But the other two, I can't tell you shit about, bro. I have no idea. I don't
also,
know.
gay people and black people are fucking hilarious. And it's like, if you just let them write the jokes, it's going to be fucking amazing.
That's the other part is like you've had straight white dudes running comedy for so long that it's like, what was it? There's actually a really, really great moment in the history of Sanford and Son. You know, the old Red Fox show about the junk dealer. Yeah. All right. So Red Fox quits his own show at one point, leaves. He's gone, but he comes back. And his whole thing was, I'll come back, but the writer's room has to change. These people aren't writing for us, meaning the black population. Like they're not writing for us. He's like, I want a room full of black writers to write my show about the black experience of this dealer, of this junk dealer, right? So he gets back into the writer's room. They bring him back to the show. He's spent a season gone. He comes in after like 2 writers' meetings. Red Fox basically breaks the door down, shoves it wide open. He's pissed off, and he starts yelling at the producers, "Bring me my Jews! Bring me my Jews!" Because like he was upset about the level of humor that was coming out of the writer's room, and he wanted his Jewish writers back to make it funny again, to find those punchlines.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of situation. The mix comes down to the individual as opposed to any sort of like creed. Just
get funny people who know how to write, no matter who they are.
Funny people, period. Funny people
who understand what their culture is, what they're doing, what makes the joke, no matter who that person is.
What makes the joke to you? Because I know what makes a joke for me. What makes a joke for you, James?
What makes a joke for me? For me, it's always a good punchline. Like, I like a good ending. You know, it's why I don't like a lot of SNL sketches, because they never know how to have a good ending. When I watch something like I Think You Should Leave, every bit has like a rap to it. There's like a meaning to it, and that's what I want. I want like a good punchline that means something.
See, and for me, I think a good bit, good comedy pulls from actual human experience. Pulls from
when you talk about that, I always think of this, like, I don't even remember the full episode of Married with Children, but I know it's the guest episode with Joey from Friends. She's dating Kelly. The whole episode, Al just wants this record, right? He's like dying to find this song and this record. And you spend the whole episode of him getting it, and he finally gets it. He puts it on his counter, and he like walks away for a second. Kelly's boyfriend comes over, puts his feet up on the table, and immediately crushes the record at the end of the episode. Like, that's the shit that I love.
But Al going to the lady at the record store going, huh,
yeah, singing, yeah.
Go with him. But like that's the other thing, dude. Like, I've been there. I've literally been in those shoes. Like that's the thing. It pulls from real human experience. You're talking to somebody, you're talking to your buddy, and you're like, you know that song? I had a friend, could not remember the song Shine by Collective Soul. All he knew, he called me up. It was 11 o'clock, and this is back when we were kids. This is when we were in high school. Could not remember the name of the song, could not remember the band. Calls me up late, and he's like, Ben, what's that song that goes, yeah. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, no, I know you know it. It's the one that goes, yeah. And I was like, I have no fucking idea, dude. 2 days later, I hear it on the radio, and then it's like I see him at school, and I'm like, Van, it shine, Collective Soul. What are you talking about? When you called me up and you went in my fucking ear all night, it shine by Collective Soul. There's your fucking answer. But yeah, real human experience. And Family Guy still touches on that with the idea of like finding an old piece of shit around your house that you're going to give away that's important to somebody else. Okay. That's a premise I can get on board with.
Then they just kind of bail on it though. Like I said, Peter learns nothing, and he shouldn't learn a thing in that moment. What it means, I just stole this precious thing from Lois, and doesn't feel like he really gets that at all.
No, it just becomes, oh, now I got to get it back. Oh, well, same old. Same old. One more time of disappointing my wife. Like that's, and after 22 years of Peter being a constant disappointment to his wife, like does that, you know what I mean?
Like I said, Simpsons is similar. Homer is always an idiot disappointment, but I always still, for some reason, I feel like Homer still learned something. Even at the end, even though Kobe's kind of restarts, but he still feels like he learned something when he does something bad.
Yeah, but like that's the thing. You see, So a good sitcom always resets at the end of it.
Yeah.
And we already talked about South Park. But like the idea that they would kill Kenny off, but then him be alive at the beginning of the next episode is a nod. It's an homage to the actual reset of traditional sitcom sort of patterns. Like it is what you do in a sitcom, because you can't have them grow too much episode to episode, or then you lose the humor in it. You lose what makes them funny, but you have to see the growth through the episode. And if in every 5 episodes, 10 episodes, you see an actual like bit of character development, you're doing it right. Yeah,
but an episode like this, and there's no growth at all. And I'm just sitting here, I'm like, why am I watching this? I was like, what's the point of this at all?
It doesn't. It also okay. There are things that you watch around Christmas time because they make you feel like Christmas. You know what I mean? It feels like Christmas.
I watch Die Hard every year. I watched Batman Returns last night.
So me and Jen tonight, we're gonna watch the first It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia Christmas special.
Nice.
Did you fuck my mom, Santa? Did you fuck my mom? Did you fuck my mom, Santa? Did you fuck my mom? The greatest thing ever. And it ends with them throwing rocks at trains. Like a true Philly Christmas tradition. You know? And like that feels like Christmas. The other one that I'm going to put on when we're done here, because I love it, is the Pee-wee's Playhouse Christmas special.
Oh.
Like if you've never watched it,
I don't think I've watched it.
Bro, you have to. Charo does Feliz Navidad, and it is amazing.
That's all. Is it one Christmas special?
It's one Christmas special. It's like 45 minutes long. It's fucking perfect. It is perfect. What is it? There's another Grace Jones is there and does some weirdly like almost half erotic like Christmas thing. Even the Star Wars Christmas special feels like Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, I watch Christmas with the Joker also every year, the Batman animated series episode where Joker launches himself out of Arkham on a rocket Christmas tree, singing Batman Smells.
But even in all of that, right? Like you look at that, even in all of that stuff, bro, there's not anything about this episode that has a level of longevity. You're not going to sit there with your family and be like, ooh, let's watch the White Man Christmas or whatever. white man has a Christmas or whatever. Like this is
even like, so like the ending is, now I brought up Christmas to the Joker. It reminded me, it's the ending of this episode, which I also fucking hate. I hate that. So like he gives Lois the brooch, whatever. Meg comes back to life, whatever. Then it like cuts to black. I'm like, all right, the episode's over. And then it like goes back to the nursing home. Lois gives the brooch back to the old lady and then punctures her heart. Whatever. I guess that should be funny, but I don't know. I wasn't that into it. And then they're talking about, oh, I've never seen A Wonderful Life. Blah, blah. They have this whole like horrible dialogue about not watching A Wonderful Life. And it made me think of, like, in Christmas with the Joker, Batman talks about how he's never seen It's a Wonderful Life because he's always too busy being Batman. And Robin's like, we got to watch it. And he's like, we're going to watch it tonight. And then right when they're about to watch it, Joker comes on TV. And the episode ends when they finally get to watch It's a Wonderful Life together.
Yeah. So, okay. I'm going to, and I believe it was you, because we were talking about another cartoon that did this same gag not too long ago.
Oh shit! Like, I think you're right.
I'm 100% right.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was though.
I can't remember the cartoon either to save my life right now. But was it?
There's one you guys didn't like very much either. But I remember that gag being funny because he was just bleeding in the background. It was the Dan Harmon show. Yeah,
Crapopolis. Yeah.
The guy, he accidentally like does some surgery and starts bleeding everywhere in the background while they're having their dialogue.
So when I saw that, I was like, oh, well, there's James's bit. And then I was like, oh, James will not like this.
No. But also made that bit funny in Crapopolis where they did it 3 times. You know, like every time they had that guy was there, you knew that he was going to get busted open. And he always had a different way that he was going to start bleeding everywhere. I don't know. This was just felt so random. This is how we're just going to wrap up this episode. This is how it's just going to be that Peter. So Peter then doesn't learn anything even more so because they just murdered this old lady. So it's like, what really was the point of any of this? She didn't even get her Christmas.
No point. 0 point. They could have called it a pointless fucking Christmas is what they could have called it.
It's a better title.
And it would have been fine. It would have been fine. But yeah, dude, I don't know. If you got 30 minutes on Christmas, there's 10,000 better ways to spend it than this.
Way better.
But I mean, that's the story in a nutshell, you know, like,
and more stuff with Stewie. I don't know, trying to bring Meg back, and I guess Stewie kind of learned something that he's like the only real story in this. And they don't spend enough time with him. Yeah. Like, so actually, here's another gag I actually do remember. I don't think the joke is funny when Brian smokes a lot of weed and he's like, "Oh, I want to be philosophical," and Stewie's like, whatever." But there's like a small little joke when like he's waiting, you see the candles go down. And you see like Rupert the teddy bear kind of like fall over, and Stewie's like, no, you're not going anywhere, and like pulls him back into the chair. And then Brian keeps talking about whatever. That little moment I thought was funny.
I mean, you smoke enough weed, you're gonna hang out with a guy that you want to get up and get out of the room with when he starts waxing philosophical when he's way too high. Yeah, I know
but it's
that.
Like I get it. What, people who smoke weed, they get philosophical. Congrats. I don't know.
Yeah, and they become unbearable sometimes. Sure. Yeah. Get it. Deal with an abusive drunk. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's what would you rather? Like,
I think I remember one episode. Is there one where like Peter is like kind of like an abusive drunk, right? Isn't he like hitting Meg on accident or doing something like
there? And arguably funnier than this. But yeah, dude. Like again, it's got elements. It's got points where it touches things that could potentially be funny. And then it just shits the bed left and right, man. Left and right. So, and maybe overall I'm just checked out on Family Guy. I've had enough of it. Maybe I don't know. There was a point.
This is the first Family Guy I've watched in years.
Yeah. So it used to be a thing, and this will tell you, it was when we lived up in Oregon. So at least 7 years, probably closer to 8 to 10. But I would go through a point in time where it's like, if I would, because I worked a different schedule than Jen, and she often has to get up way earlier. And I'm usually going to bed like an hour or two before she's getting up to go to work. It's always kind of been that way, because she would work like coffee stuff. And then I would work nights at Nike for a long time. And then when we sort of flip-flopped and my night shift became a day shift, there was still that disconnect, right? Anyway, long and the short of it is, I would often like fall asleep on the couch. I'd come in, pop a movie on, end up passing out during the movie, and then wake up, and like the streamers do the thing where it's like whatever's next just keeps playing.
Yeah.
Or it starts playing a thing, whatever it might be. I would wake up to Family Guy a lot. Like a lot. Like, and then I'd watch an episode or two and it'd be fine. And then I'd get on with my day. But like, even now, if I go to sleep and I wake up and Family Guy's on the TV, I cannot reach for a remote fast enough to either change it, turn it off, whatever. I cannot find a remote quick enough. And it's not that I think it's not that I think it's offensive. I don't really think Family Guy is that offensive anymore. I don't think they hit hard. I just think it's unfunny.
Yeah, it just ultimately sucks.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what to tell the world.
Let's just wrap up this Christmas episode here, because there's not much more I can really. I mean, I could shit on Family Guy for a while, but I mean, you kind of said it. But what are your final thoughts? I can't press the button because I don't have it. But
it's a big fat all day. No, you can do better. You can do better. America, do better. Like,
America, do better. Or just watch South Park, But yeah, this episode fucking sucked, and it just solidifies why I hate Family Guy so much, because there's just no point to these stories. Like every episode, there's just like they set up, and I get Simpsons does it too. They have a big setup, and then they kind of like negate the setup and become something else. But the Simpsons, it just feels like that still a story means something at the end of that episode. Like Family Guy, it's like, here's our setup, then here's a thing in the middle that changes everything, and then the third act, something also then completely different that means nothing to whatever we just watched and been through, and it just fucking sucks.
It feels like a chore. This felt honestly like you gave
20
me
minutes.
You gave me the longest 20-minute job.
I said I always like to try to find the weirdest Christmas specials. I don't know. This one popped up. We never talked about Family Guy. I was like, well, at least I could probably get 20 minutes of Family Guy. And yeah, I mean, it was tough.
If we go, like, that's the thing. I think based on this alone, we don't need to watch Family Guy as a team. I don't think we need to. And if we do, then it needs to be 5 episodes, and they have to be baller, and they have to be from between 1999 and 2005. That's it. You can't watch any other fucking Family Guy, bro. Like, that's it. Done.
Yeah, I remember there was a point where I'd literally go to school with my friends. It would be like middle school, just repeating Family Guy jokes to each other.
Norm Macdonald Norm Macdonald, Adam Carolla, both is deaf. Come on. That's great. Yeah. That's great. But, whatever. Now it's like, whatever. It was good 25 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I guess people still watch it. It's still on TV, but yeah, they should get rid of this. Do something else. I mean, Seth MacFarlane's TED show on Peacock is awesome. If you're going to watch any of Seth MacFarlane stuff, the TED show should not be as awesome as it is. Because if you watch the trailers, it doesn't really look that good, but it is hilarious.
I might have to click on some of that.
It's fucking hilarious. Also, if you really want to watch something funny, watch the Dr. Phil Christmas special, because it's got Jay Leno, it's got Steve Urkel on there promoting his new weed brand, and they may or may not smoke on stage. It's hilarious. It's
Purple Urkel. Is that what it is?
Yeah, nice.
Got it. And if you're gonna watch some Christmas stuff this year, if you need a big animated Christmas thing to watch, go back and watch the first South Park Christmas special with Mr. Hanky. Like, go back
Oh
and watch
yeah.
that. Like, hit
And
up that shit.
and I know we have, our small little fan base here, but this happens every once in a while when we watch a show. Do you know that all the animated Lord of the Rings are now on Max? Literally the week after we recorded that episode of The Hobbit. Because now all my cousins are watching it. They're telling me about it.
Yep.
So go watch that.
All three of those are up. If you need,
Literally a week after we did that episode, and then it was on Max.
I told you it's standard holiday viewing, man. That's where they dropped it in, was holiday viewing, and they're maintaining tradition. I saw Wizard of Oz was back on a thing. If you're not looking for animated and you're looking for something, go watch Wizard of Oz. It's that time of year for that. Literally
anything other than this Family Guy Christmas special. Anything else?
Oh my God, that's perfect. But then, James, how are we cleansing the palate for the next time we get together around the new year? How are we bringing in 2025?
Yeah, so our new year, next episode is in the new year, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It's December 24th. Technically, we should be recording on the 5th, so that would be like New Year's Day would be our next one, technically.
I will figure out when we're doing it. And I was looking through your list of stuff you sent me, and there's one show that we definitely never talked about. I actually don't even know how to approach it yet. Maybe it's better to do like one big of like a retrospective of this thing, but I do want to talk about the Smurfs.
Ooh.
I don't know how exactly to talk about it, but maybe it's better as like a broader,
as like an overall sort of like, this is from whence they came, as opposed to like, this episode's good or that episode is good. We might actually have to do some work coming into the new year. That's good. That's good.
So that could be fun. And I like the Smurfs, but I can't say that like there's so many. It's Smurfs like Scooby-Doo, there's just so much of it that I can't even tell you what Smurfs I even really know compared to the originals or whatever.
So I know the Smurfs from, I believe it's like the 83 era, from that era, like in the 80s is what I grew up with. But yeah, no, dude, I'm excited about, because listen, McDonald's used to do the cups, the actual like glass cups,
Yeah. I had the Batman ones.
I had the Smurfs ones where they were like painted on the sides when I was a kid. Yeah. Gargamel is arguably the greatest big bad. The Smurfs is packed in with lore.
And we were talking about Simpsons earlier. What's his face? He plays him in the live action movie. Fucking the guy who voices Mo.
Got it. Yes. Harry Shearer.
Yeah, he plays him in the live action movie.
So, okay. The Smurfs is also great because it touches on, as far as its lore goes, everything from like psychedelia to, they used to say when you would eat magic mushrooms, a lot of times a lot of people would see little blue people, right?
Oh,
as a result of eating mushrooms. So the fact that the Smurfs live in the mushrooms is supposed
I never knew that.
A nod to magic mushrooms. Also, the Smurfs are a lot of people suggest it was a way that entertainment was trying to indoctrinate children to communism.
Oh shit! So yeah, this is what we got to talk about. This is the episode.
So
mushrooms and communism.
So and just real quick, and we'll go in depth on it, but the thing that leads people to that, it's a cashless society. Everybody has their job to like benefit and better the society. Carpenter Smurf, Grumpy Smurf, his whole job is just to be grumpy. They all have.
That's the best job.
It's the only one that I could film. But they all have these roles to fill, and then you have Papa Smurf, who is in red, and obviously red is the color of communism. And they all work, and he oversees everybody doing their work to benefit the Smurf society. Gargamel represents capitalism and greed. He is there to exploit the working class, the workers.
Wow.
Yeah, it goes deep, bro. Like Smurfs is packed with shit. So like I'm down.
Damn, all right. So big Smurfs episode next week. Let's fucking do it. All right. Well, happy holidays, everyone. Ben, I hope you enjoy getting pegged for Christmas.
I cannot wait. It's gonna be a way to peg out the end of the year.
It's a pagan holiday.
Oh, Christmas is a pagan holiday. On that note, guys, thank you. Merry Christmas. Always, we're at totally.toonular@gmail.com. We will be back here live on YouTube where we talk about the Smurfs. Go celebrate your pagan holidays.
Yes. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
You guys, this is all Kyle's mom's fault. Shut up, Cartman. Kyle's mom is the one that started that damn club, and all because she's a big, fat, stupid bitch.